Welcome to this edition of Stream On. I'm Jim Williams, your host. Now, as you guys know, over the past 4 years that we've been doing this show, that we focus mainly on entertainment. However, throughout the time, we've obviously touched base with, CBSN and NBC News Now and ABC and Sky and a number of different news operations, because one of the things that you guys have constantly said to me is, where do I go to get the real news? I mean, we don't know sometimes what is fact and what is fiction. Well, Tegna, one of the top broadcasting companies in the country, made a big announcement today. And it has to do with their Verify program. Now, our guest is Adam Ostrow, who is Tegna's chief digital officer, and we'll be touching base with Adam here in just a minute. But as I said early today, Tegna is debuting nationally their Verify brand. Now, they're building on a substantial growth of Verify content on Tegna's local media properties over the past few years in the 50 some odd markets that Tegna's in. Now, originally, it was launched in 2015. Now, Verify is dedicated to helping the public distinguish between truth and false. The information that you get, whether it's BS or not, needs to be fact checked, and that's what Verify is there to help you do. Their goal is, by using their fact checking through research and credible sources, they can get you the right answer. Now, in addition to its daily broadcast presence and newly launched website, which is just, newly launched today, as a matter of fact, its daily broadcast submits stories that they want verified. So basically, you can now text Verify and submit a story that you saw online, on Facebook, maybe it was a newspaper, whatever. You want to know if what you're reading is fact or fiction. Are you getting fed on a BS, or is it fact? Well, that's what Verify's here to do. And Tegna has had some really good results in the last year, okay? In 2020 alone, Verify content on Tegna through their station websites has increased more than 400%, while Verify videos on Snapchat's Discover platform saw more than 8 million unique visitors, reaching a brand new audience who are now reaching out to Verify to find out if they're being told the truth or being gaslit, okay? And those adults are in the 18 to 24 range. And I really think that once we dive into Verify here in a couple of minutes, that we're all going to want to use it, because it is amazing what people believe to be truth and what really truth is. And as the late Senator Daniel Patrick Moynihan famously quoted, that people are entitled to their own opinion, but they're not entitled to their own facts. And folks, there's only one fact, okay? They're not alternative facts, they're just facts. Adam, thanks for joining us. By the way, this is an exclusive podcast. No one else on the podcast I will have someone from Tegna talking about Verify. Adam, we couldn't be happier or more pleased to have you as a guest. Tell us first about Tegna, and then let's do a deep dive into Verify.
Sure. So Tegna is one of the largest owners of local television stations in the country. We're in 51 different markets, everywhere from Washington, D.C. to Seattle, Atlanta, San Diego, Houston, Dallas, very geographically diverse. We, for those who don't know the name Tegna, we used to be a part of Gannett, the newspaper company, and about 5 years ago they separated their print and television assets, and Tegna was formed. So I'm the chief digital officer and responsible for the digital presence for all of those television stations. So their websites, apps, social media, as well as new digital projects like Verify.
You know, uh, as we talked a little bit before we started recording, uh, never before has it been so important from your standpoint, because you're the digital guy. With newspapers gone, I mean, let's look at the Tampa St. Petersburg market, right? A market which you guys are very strong in. There's no, I mean, that is the 10th largest television market in the country. There is no daily newspaper in the Tampa St. Petersburg market, which is stunning. But that certainly leaves an opening, because you guys, one of the things that I've appreciated with Tegna is that you have a tremendous commitment to local news coverage. And you've certainly done a good job of filling in where the newspapers have gone, not just on air, but online with their digital component.
Yeah, no, and I appreciate that. I mean, I think, Tegna as a company, I think can go shoulder to shoulder with anyone when it comes to investing in local journalism, investigative reporting. And I think, hopefully you see that every day in our broadcasts. As far as digital is concerned, over the last few years, we've made a big investment in expanding our digital offerings. While kind of what's happened with the newspapers, our business is evolving as well. And for us, we've had a lot of focus on one, upgrading, our digital platforms where people consume our content. So our websites and apps, we now reach more than 70 million unique visitors per month on our television station's websites. We've expanded aggressively into new platforms like YouTube, and more recently, streaming. So, all of our TV stations now have apps on Roku and Fire TV, as well. The other thing that we're trying to do, again, to your point about newspapers, we are trying to be more hyper local in some of our coverage. So we've been having, for the last year, about a year ago, we introduced some new capabilities really on the digital side that allow us to geotag all of our content, as well as take user-generated content from the audience. And what we're able to do then is, using geotagging, able to kind of tell you, what's news near me. The feature is actually called Near Me. So you can actually get a look at, what are the news stories in my neighborhood and surrounding area, as well as increasingly see content that other people that live near you are posting. So that's been a big focus for us in terms of, how to fill some of that void, because, local journalism is so core to what we do at Tegna.
Well, again, the genesis, if you will, of Tegna was journalism in the first place, with Gannett and with the newspaper business before they were in the television business. So now it's come full circle. You've got the whole thing in one package. Well, this is a very big day for you, my friend. You guys are making a big announcement. Let's talk about that big announcement.
Yeah, so today we're announcing the expansion of something we call Verify at Tegna, which has been an initiative at the company since 2015. So taking a little bit of a step back, we created Verify. It was actually created at one of these Innovation Summit events that our company does. So these are events where in pre-COVID times, we would bring together people from all of our TV stations to really come up with new concepts, and then really, be able to spend a couple days outside of their day job to think about, what does the future of journalism and local journalism look like? One of the concepts they came up with in 2015 was something called Verify, with the goal of combating misinformation, which, has been talked about a lot in recent years, but has really been on a problem on the internet since, the internet's early days, in the 90s. So they came up with this concept, Verify, and the idea was really all about, trust in media has been falling over time, not just in the last few years, but for a prolonged period of time. And the idea was, started with how do we restore trust in media and how do we combat this issue of misinformation? So what Verify started as was essentially a segment on television where our journalists would answer largely questions from the audience. So things that people that watch our television stations saw maybe going viral on Facebook, or their friend had emailed them and wanting to know whether it's true or false. And then the format we developed around that for television, did a couple things that I think were somewhat novel that the audience really appreciated. One is we would cite our sources up front. So, we would say right away, okay, this is the question. This is why we're talking about it. Here's who submitted the question. And here are, the 2 or 3 primary sources and what we found out. And ultimately trying to answer in a true or false fashion what the result of whether that question, statement, story that someone's seeing online is true or false. So taking a step forward, so we've been doing Verify now for 5+ years. We've seen, and it started as a TV brand, but in the last year or so, we started really increasing the digital publishing of Verify content. So on all of our TV station websites now, you can find Verify stories. We have national Verify reporters, as well as a number of our stations creating Verify content locally. And on our station websites now, we see 5 million plus unique visitors every month coming to our Verified stories. And then late last year, we launched on Snapchat. So, reaching an entirely new generation of consumers. And what we found there was a ton of success as well. So, we launched on Snapchat and quickly grew our following there to, the point we have millions of people consuming our stories on Snapchat every month. We have more than 170,000 people that are subscribed to our channel on Snapchat Discover. And the cool thing is 50% of them are under the age of 24, which is a demographic we, don't reach on television. So with those kind of data points, what we decided to do is invest in creating a dedicated team to focus on turning Verify into a multi-platform brand. So this Tuesday, May 4th, we will be announcing the launch of the Verify national brand, which consists of a website that people will be able to find at verifythis.com, as well as social media accounts across all the big platforms. So we're already on Snapchat, but also Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. Which is important to us, right? I mean, so much misinformation today spreads on social media. So, we want to be on the places where misinformation spreads and offer more ways for the audience to connect with us, and when they have something they want us to verify, they can reach out to us in any multitude of ways.
It's one of the great things about the streaming video world is that you can find places where, if I want to watch it, there are a lot of cord nevers. And especially in the demographic you were just talking about. And you look out and they're constantly looking for news. And I believe one of the successes of why it's working for you on Snapchat is that once they find some place where they trust it, they stay with it. And it's funny. I mean, we're going back in journalistic times to the good old days when people, it was trust but verify, as opposed to just go to your silo and read what people write about what you as a consumer think, well, this is great because this is what I believe, so it must be right. Well, not necessarily. And we've learned that. If we haven't learned that over the last 4 years, we certainly should have. But it was, it was seeping into the air, that arena long before, 4 years ago. But it just got hyper amplified in the past 4 years. But Verify is important, and it has always been important in all aspects of journalism. And you can't go through life without knowing the facts. And this, I think, is not just important for the Tegna brand, but I think it's important at this point in time for the country to have a place where you can go and you can see that this has been vetted by true journalists who understand the importance of getting it right.
Yeah, and that's I'm so glad you said that, because that is really what the mission is all about. And I think, to your point, I mean, misinformation has been is not a new problem, but social media has been a huge accelerant of it. And regardless of what your beliefs are politically and so on, the algorithms of these social platforms are really tailored to just give you continually reinforce what you believe, whether what you believe is true or false. And that's created a real problem. A lot of the misinformation that we see today is directly a result of that, right? So the mission to Verify is a lofty one, right? We want to take on that challenge, and a big part of the thinking and how we're expanding the brand and launching, not just a website, but having a presence across all of these different social platforms. We also have actually a phone number where people can text us their questions anytime. So a big part of that thinking is we need to be the places where this misinformation is spreading, and find ways to connect and break through some of these bubbles that otherwise have a lot of people consuming information that's just factually incorrect, and they have no idea. So that's really what we're going after.
Well, it's funny. I mean, growing up in the journalistic world, the early days of CNN, I was involved with them. The news director was a gentleman by the name of Reese Schoenfeld, and there was, for those of you who are unaware, in the old days in television, when you went to break, there would be the ability for the producers to hit a button and basically speak to everybody in the studio and make an announcement of something, whether it was, we were cutting story B or whatever. Reese hit the button one day after an anchor had just, casually mentioned something that could have been misconstrued as an opinion. Okay. Wasn't truly, it wasn't like he was giving a commentary. He just voiced what was an opinion. Reese hit the button and said, "I do not pay you for your opinion. I pay you for the news." We've long since that is long since left. And no longer do we see a CNN or an MSNBC or a Fox or any of the folks at night anyway, in prime time, do we see them. And this is me speaking, not Adam, that we don't see news as much as we see entertainment. And it's so important, Adam, as you know, because you're in the midst of this with Verify, that we all go back to Daniel Patrick Moynihan's great line, which you're entitled to your own opinion, you're just not entitled to your own facts.
Yeah, and I think, what you mentioned, I mean, when you look at surveys from folks like Pew, what you are seeing is, as cable has, folks have, for lack of a better term, chosen their sides in terms of some of the programming. Local media is, America's most trusted media. And, it has been for some time, but it's become even more so over the last several years, which I think is why, a company like Tegna and our television stations are, the best equipped to try to go after this issue.
Well, remember, and I think this is something I've always told people who, may or may not have understood it, but the reason that local television is so important and never more important than now these are the people that live with you. You see these people at the stores when you go to the store. You bump into, you live in the same neighborhoods. You go, their kids go to the same school your kids to go to. They're part of the community. There is absolutely no reason or no issue for them to lie to you. It is not in their best interest to do that for a number of reasons, forgetting the obvious, which is, that should never be done. But it's important to note that, if you don't trust them in your own community, then who can you trust?
Yeah, and when you think about what local television stations cover as opposed to large portions of national media,
Sure.
yes, we have politics as part of our coverage, but really a lot of it is about safety and local crime and health and things you need to be aware of as parents, and that's where we're going with Verify as well. I think there's certainly other folks out there doing fact checking, but we're going after not just politics, and actually I think politics is going to be a small part of what we do. When we look at what's been most successful for us with Verify, particularly recently, some of the stories that have resonated the most with our audience have been things around social justice or things around health, particularly with first COVID and its impact and the various different rules or lack of rules that folks are putting in place locally, and now with the vaccine, it's information that's critically important for our communities. It's handled differently in many cases on a state by state or locality by locality basis.
Sure.
Which is really where you need and want the local expertise that local journalists can provide. So going back to Verify, as I said, I think what you're going to see is a broad variety of content, and the misinformation problem is a lot broader than politics. So we are aiming to be a source of truth, whether it's things about health or ideally debunking all of the scams that go around on the internet right now too,
Sure.
whether before they cost people money or their identity. I mean, there's a lot of serious issues out there as a result of the misinformation crisis. So Verify is has the ambitious goal of really trying to tackle all of them. So it's going to be a big challenge, but one we're excited to tackle, and think that a local media company is well positioned to take on.
Well, the other part to what you're saying is that Tegna stations, and you're expanding the news footprint so that you're getting more news in the morning and in the afternoon than the old 5 o'clock news and the old everything quit at from 5 o'clock in the morning to 9 o'clock in the morning is no longer the case. There's been expanding newsrooms and all of that, and with it, I mean, people want to know the issues that are important to them in each and every one of their neighborhoods. So it's going to be different in Tampa, St. Petersburg, and Washington, D.C., and Seattle, Washington, than it is in other parts of the country. So each one of these places will give your verified teams ample opportunity to not only find out what's going on a local basis, but in some regards give you some crosstabs on what's going on, regionally and nationally.
Yeah, and our approach with Verify is, so we've built a dedicated national team that's going to run the properties I mentioned earlier.
Sure.
But then, we have an increasing number of television stations that are dedicating staff locally to their own kind of local versions of Verify. And the goal is for those to really work well together, and for our local station sites to feature, both national Verify content, local Verify content, and then for our on the broadcast side for the TV stations to aggressively use this format whether it's local or in some cases national. And also just continue to encourage the audience if they see something suspicious to let us know.
See something, say something.
See something. Yeah, I mean, if so, we have a team of folks that are experts in misinformation, and that's a big part of this is the audience engagement.
Well, I'll tell you what, we've come to that portion of the podcast, which I like to call the shameless plug aspect. So here you go. You've got, take your time and let us know, again, what Verify is real quick, and also how to find it, and social media, and the whole 10 yards as to how we can get involved as consumers in helping you, and also at the same time learn from what you're doing.
Absolutely. So again, Verify is one of the largest efforts to combat the spread of misinformation. So what we're offering as of today is a dedicated website at verifythis.com, which will have all of our latest stories and things that we're verifying or debunking, as the case may be. You can also follow us on your social media platform, your favorite social media platform, or on Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, YouTube, all under the handle Verify This. You can also actually send us a text message. So we have, one of the things that's worked really well for us at our TV stations, all of our TV stations now have their own phone number. Where the audience can do everything from, interact with some of the reporters to send in photos and videos of breaking news or severe weather. So we decided to set up a text line for Verify as well. And the number for the Verify text line is 202-410-8808. So, if there's something that you see online or even when you're watching TV, you can text that phone number. We have a team of journalists that monitor it and can get back to you with a true or false, or we can assign some of our researchers and reporters to dig into it.
So not only is it something that you can read online, it's something that you as a viewer can help you at the same time, or you can help them get an answer quickly.
Correct. And one of the things that is also important to Verify stories is we want the audience to understand why we're covering something, right? So what you'll increasingly see in our stories, whether they're on television or on our website or social, is, we'll clearly state, okay, where did this question come from? Is it something that's going viral on social? Is it something that, the audience accessed directly from texting? And we actually, we're trying to, and we're starting to do this, get for folks that are comfortable being on video, getting them to submit their questions through video. So when people can see it, they're like, you know what, that's a real person. That's not just some anonymous thing on the internet. It's a real person that seems like someone I could run into at the grocery store that has this question. So that's a big part of what we're trying to do.
Well, it's funny, 5 or 10 years ago, you might have said, well, that's something difficult, but with the advent of cell phones, with YouTube, with Snapchat, with all the different social media platforms, it does not seem a problem for somebody to turn the camera on themselves and ask you a question.
Exactly. And that's why we have a phone number now. Just make it as simple as sending a text message to your friends or family. You can now send something to the Verify team. Just
make Verify part of your friends and family.
Yeah, add it to your address book.
That's right. There you go. No big deal. Adam, thanks so much. And I got to say, this is a good time for Verify, and it's something that we all need. And I'll tell you what, you're doing the good work. Let's hope that people jump in there and roll up their sleeves and work with you and learn from what you guys are doing out there, because it's something we all need.
Yeah, we appreciate that, and yeah, we're certainly committed to it. We and are really excited to launch today, and keep producing more content and answering your questions. So thanks again for having me.
Special thanks to our guest Adam Ostrow, Tegna's Chief Digital Officer, and by all means, all the information on Verify, which we certainly have needed for a long time, and we certainly need it now. Verify. All the information on Verify is in our show box below. Be sure to use it. It's a fantastic tool. Get the news and get it right, okay? Get it from Verify. We'll be back with more of Stream On right after this from the 2021 Ford Bronco.
This country has a strange relationship with the wild. As much as we talk about it, and paint paintings of it, and sing songs about how we're destined to be it, we seem to spend every waking hour in places that keep us away from it. So to get back to the wild, we need something built for it. Something that acts like it's been out here before, because it has. Introducing the return of a legend. The all-new Bronco 2-door, the first ever Bronco 4-door, and the adventure-ready Bronco Sport. Built to get you to all those places you normally only see in nature documentaries. Built for capability, for adventure, for enjoying the open air, on the open road, in the parts of the world without posted speed limits. Because if something is going to be called a Bronco, it better be able to live up to that name. Meet the future of off-roading. The all-new Bronco family.
$70,000 people and growing who've joined our little party here worldwide. First of all, shame on you. Second of all, we make it simple. No matter where you are in the world, all you have to do is go to the Apple Podcast Store. You can find us at Google Play. You can find us at Spreaker, Stitcher, Spotify, as well as Amazon Radio, Pandora, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, and YouTube, just to name a few. Now, if you have an assistant device, right? We all do. Just say to your assistant device, please play the latest edition of Stream On with Jim Williams, and guess what? They'll do it for you, okay? Now, if for some reason, after all that, you still can't find us, don't worry about it. Pull out the old Google machine, type in Stream On with Jim Williams, hit the favorite button or subscribe button, and each week you're going to get a brand new edition of the podcast sent directly to your phone, your tablet, or hopefully to both. So please, do us a favor, go out there and do that today, okay? All right. So what's new? Well, Inside Out is new. It's on HGTV. You can find it, of course, on Discovery Plus. You can find The Handmaid's Tale back for another season. It's on Hulu. Very popular show. A little dark, but, a lot of people like it. Let's Be Real on Fox. The Mosquito Coast comes back on Apple TV Plus. Pet Stars is on Netflix. DC's Legends of Tomorrow, one of my favorites, is on the CW. The Girlfriend Experience, very intense, very interesting show on Starz. Bar Rescue is on Paramount Plus. Pose is on FX. By the way, outstanding show. Gotta check it out. And it's the last season for Pose, so by all means, check it out. Best Baker in America is on the Food Network and Discovery Plus. Selena, the series Part 2, debuted on Netflix. Star Wars, The Bad Batch, Disney Plus. Real Housewives of New York. It's back on Bravo. Then we've got Kids Say the Darndest Things. That's back on CBS. And we've got The Dark Side of the Ring, which is on Vice TV. Jupiter's Legacy on Netflix. And we got Dynasty on CW. All coming back this week. Now, renewals, Duncanville on Fox. Star Trek The Lower Deck on Paramount Plus, while we have cancellations of American Gods on Starz, Bless the Hearts on Fox, MacGyver on CBS, and The Right Stuff on Disney Plus. All are headed for cancellation. Okay, now, binge-worthy. My binge-worthy show this week is not really a new show. It's new to me, and it's new to a lot of people. It's on Showtime. It's called Your Honor, starring Bryan Cranston, one of the best actors, in my opinion, out there today. Now, you really have to see the show. He plays a judge in New Orleans. It is one of those shows where I'll give you a for instance as to why I'm hooked on this show. I decided to take a look at it. We have, you guys are great. You recommended it to me. I started watching it and realized I started around 8 o'clock. I realized at about 1 o'clock in the morning I had watched 4 or 5 of these things. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. I want to watch the rest of it, but, it's getting late. It is one of those amazing thrillers that keeps you on the edge of your seat. Bryan Cranston, an all-star cast. Your Honor, Showtime. If you don't have Showtime, take the 7-day free trial. And if nothing else, watch Your Honor, but there's a lot of good stuff on there. But by all means, check out Your Honor. It is a bingeable show. I finally finished it. It's outstanding. It's well worth the time and the effort, okay? And again, guys, we really appreciate it. And it's so super. I mean, we're getting a lot of different feedback from Australia, from New Zealand, from Canada, from the UK, from Sweden. I mean, you name it, we're getting some great feedback on social media. Check out all of our social media in the show box below. It's really been a lot of fun working with you guys from a standpoint of you telling us what we should watch. And we, of course, try to listen to everything you do and get some feedback for you. Sometimes it's not on the podcast, but certainly through social media, we'll let you know what we've seen and what we're looking forward to. So by all means, keep those social media areas busy, because we are constantly looking for it. You gave us a great tip on Your Honor from Showtime, and now we're passing that on to others as well. Okay? So by all means, check it out in the show box below and hit us up on any number of social media, or hit us up through our email address, all of which is in the show box below. Okay, folks, well, it's been fun. This week, we have had a lot of fun in trying to get all the information to you. By all means, check out Verify on Tegna. All the information on that is also in our show box below. So, until next week, I'm Jim Williams for the entire team here at Stream On, wishing you a very safe and very happy weekend.